Hello and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share, and make sure you're subscribed to all notifications. Just hit that little bell beside the subscribed option. This video, I just wanted to reiterate some things that I have pointed out since last year, and the fact that so many people are throwing the blame of people to hold accountable for the downfall of R. Kelly. But a lot of people just keep tiptoeing around certain people. Now, the main person that we need to focus on would be the person who has spent so many years spinning these narratives. One minute he is a music critic who greatly appreciated R. Kelly's work. The next minute, he's determined to keep putting these stories out and even taking part in leaking an alleged victim's name, which also is a violation of victims' rights. Not only that, this person also participated in some illegal activities, yet this same person wants to keep spreading these narratives, linking up with these people who have been trying to extort R. Kelly in all this time, and even keep recruiting people for his agenda. Let's take a look back at the first trial. Also, a thing to remember is some people seem to forget that even in the first trial, just like this trial, they claimed they had 3 tapes. But apparently, some things were put in motion and only one was referenced. It's funny, the time of this video just keeps going back and forth. 1 minute is 40 minutes, the next is 27, the next is 25. And people aren't peeping the game, and how even though they claim the FBI verified that the tape was authentic, they never spoke on the chain of custody, which should have been in dispute. Let's take a look back at the first trial and things that were said, and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
I'm not aware of anything like that, and for people, unknown people, to make those statements against me is ridiculous.
After yesterday's arrest, Kelly released this statement, quote, "I have complete faith in our system of justice, and I am confident that when all the facts come out, people will see that I'm no criminal." The tape was first made public by the Chicago Sun-Times, which turned it over to authorities investigating complaints of teen sex against Kelly.
Right.
Music reporter Jim DeRogatis says he confirmed that it was Kelly on the tape by showing it to the 14-year-old's aunt.
Probably one of the worst things I've ever had to do as a reporter is sit with this woman and say, look, I don't want to show you this, but we need to make sure this girl is who we think this girl is.
Now a jury must decide if the man who sold 24 million records also made one videotape that could end his career. For today, Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
Dick Devine is Cook County State's attorney. Mr. Devine, good morning.
Good morning, Ann.
Mr. Kelly's attorney says that your case cannot be proven, so how strong is your evidence?
Well, we don't bring charges unless we believe we have the basis for a case. And this is the result of a long investigation. The Chicago Police Department, our office, others were involved. And we filed the charges because we believe there is a solid basis in the evidence for the case.
Well, Kelly denies he is the man on the tape. So what evidence do you have specifically that he is the man on the tape?
Well, I can't go into too many specifics because this is still a matter that is to be tried. But I can tell you that that is obviously one of the things that you check out, as on your on your recent report that you just did. The identity is one of the first things that you look at, and I'm sure everyone can expect we spent some time doing that, especially after Mr. Kelly went on TV a couple of weeks ago and denied that it was him.
Now, I understand that your investigators talked to some 50 people. Are these people who could just simply identify Mr. Kelly by seeing the tape, or are there people who actually were involved with the making of the tape who are among the people you'll bring to trial?
Well, again, I can't go into too many specifics, but needless to say, among the 50 people were a number that knew R. Kelly very well. and can identify him as well as the young lady on the tape. So we feel very confident in the identifications. That's not a major issue as far as we can tell.
Speaking of the young lady, apparently we're hearing the family of the girl alleged to be in this video is going to not deny that it's her. That sounds like that's going to hurt your case.
Well, you like the cooperation of everybody, but we have to remember here what we're talking about is the protection of young children from sexual predators. It's very important that the community do that. We have the laws to do it, and we're going to enforce them. We have the evidence, we believe, in this case, and whether or not particular individuals cooperate. We hope they'll cooperate, but if they don't, the case is still there.
We've been told that Kelly has been the target of numerous lawsuits or threatened lawsuits from women who allege that they were underage when he had sex with them. Did these prior allegations influence your decision to file these charges?
No, you look at each case on its own merits. That's what we did here. We looked very closely and carefully at the evidence that related to the videotape that is at the heart of this case. That was the focus. Obviously, the investigation continues, and if other things surface where the evidence is there to support charges, we'll do that as well.
You said in a news conference Wednesday that you want this case, the filing of these charges, to send a message. Who do you want that message to be sent to, and why do you think it needs to be sent?
Well, I think it's a message from the entire community. As I said before, we have a number of laws that are designed to protect the children of our communities. We have to enforce them. The message here is that if you are going to think about being involved with young children and prey upon them, that the law is going to be there. Where the evidence is available, we're going to prosecute you, and we're going to seek the harshest penalties.
I know you're now seeking to extradite Kelly from Florida to Chicago. Dick Devine, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Jensen, who looks like an unkempt sheepdog, but questions witnesses like a flesh-hungry pit bull, presses her to admit that she was intimately involved with the production and distribution of the sex tape, including scheduling a screening for the girl's parents. Sparkle says that never happened. You have no idea why they'll testify to that? Jensen asks, immediately withdrawing the question as the prosecution objects furiously. For the first half hour or so of cross-examination, Jensen gathers details to support the defense's little man theory. He asks whether she knows how many of the hours and hours of footage typically shot for a music video are never used. She has no idea. How many different videos Kelly has made over the years? A lot. And how many videos the alleged victim's much smaller time musical group starred in during its career? She says 2 or 3. Jensen next establishes Sparkle's motive, a bitter musical divorce. After her self-titled album, released in 1998 and produced, written, and arranged by Kelly, was certified platinum, Edwards expressed a desire to work with other producers. This did not sit well with Kelly, she acknowledges, and the two of them parted ways contractually in 2000. Over Jensen's protestations, Edwards insists that she and Kelly still got along personally at this point. He was my homeboy, she says, though she also admits that Kelly withheld royalty payments and claims that he still hasn't paid for her decade-old album. A short while later, Sparkle started talking with record exec Barry Hankerson, Kelly's one-time manager and now bitter enemy. Jensen asserts that Hankerson and Kelly are foes, though he omits the fact that Kelly's child bride, Aaliyah, was Hankerson's niece. Upon leaving the singer's employ, Hankerson wrote a letter to Kelly's record label saying that he needed psychiatric help for his compulsion to pursue underage girls. Jensen, with his voice raised to a near shout, tries repeatedly and futilely to get Edwards to admit that she got calls on her cell phone from Hankerson and that they talked about their common enemy. Was part of the deal doing something bad to Robert? A frothing Jensen asks. When Sparkle says, "Of course not," he repeats her words back sarcastically. Jensen leaves it to us to put all of this together. Let's give it a try. Frustrated with her declining musical career, and perhaps resentful of Kelly's astoundingly successful one, Sparkle hatched a scheme to extort her rich ex-mentor and to turn the words of her hit song Be Careful into reality. You better be careful what you do to me, she sang, 'cause somebody might do it to you.
Singer in America, R. Kelly, the man Vibe magazine called the new millennium Marvin Gaye, now in handcuffs, arrested in Florida and charged in Chicago with 21 heinous sex crimes against an underage girl.
Kelly, anything to say?
The key evidence, say police, a videotape made by the singer himself.
FBI forensics experts from Quantico have closely examined the tape. They tell us it's authentic.
Police say the 40-minute tape, which first surfaced 5 months ago, was recorded inside Kelly's house on this Chicago street. He has since moved to this suburban mansion. The video already screened by the grand jury that returned a 3-page indictment accusing Kelly of, among other things, soliciting, taping, and performing sexual acts with a 14-year-old. Kelly's attorney says it's not him on the video, and the girl in question will back him up.
This charge, in fact, and this case cannot be proven.
Kelly is best known for 2 upbeat R&B anthems, I Believe I Can Fly, and World's Greatest, which Kelly sang at the Winter Olympics. Even then, Kelly was proclaiming innocence and blaming his enemies for setting him up.
It upsets me really bad, you know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, I'm not aware of anything like that, and for people, unknown people, to make those statements against me is
really gospel, spiritual uplift of I Believe I Can Fly, and, telling kids in poor black neighborhoods that, if you believe in yourself, you can be anything. Literally 10 seconds later, he's dry humming his dancers. It was a successful combination.
Real quick, before I continue on my commentary, I just wanted to let all my subscribers know, in case you like to play bingo, if you have a Facebook account, I just created a group where we can play some bingo and possibly win a little cash. I'm going to put the link in the description. And again, if you have a Facebook, make sure you go and add yourself to this group. All games will be played live so that everyone can see what's going on. Even if you missed the live, it will still be posted so that you can see exactly how the game went. It's simple. The leading reporter that has been fixated on this R. Kelly chase for nearly 20 years. According to him, he began to get frustrated with the lack of media coverage. No matter how many times he would put these stories together, he just wasn't getting the response he needed. Strangely, when R. Kelly released the I Admit song, he wanted to chime in and twist his own narrative, of course, to what R. Kelly had said. Quoting him saying, "Don't push your daughter in my face and tell me that it's okay, because your agenda is to get paid and get mad when it don't go your way." That's exactly what we saw with Tim Savage. And that's not saying that there was money exchanged, but we all know Tim Savage had a motive. This man clearly knew of the allegations against this man, yet he somehow felt it necessary to let his wife introduce her and go along with everything until whatever happened. Strangely, some woman by the name of Asante McGee just comes across the contact information for these people. And then we see this whole trickle-down effect in which Jim Derogatis comes back in, brings back all the people he's reported on in the past, and continues with his narratives. But my problem with Derogatis is this. Who gave this former music critic the green light to become an investigator, a detective? Who gave him the green light to put himself in the center of an investigation and, for all we know, tamper with evidence? Not only that, with this alleged evidence, you have allegations of it being child porn. But yet, he's not in the hot seat for his role in letting other people view this alleged evidence and being forced to submit it to the police. No one has quite mentioned what his fixation on R. Kelly has been. Every time he feels like he gets a tip from a ex-employee, he runs that story. But people always overlook the fact that he was once a fan of R. Kelly. Now, the rumor has it he wanted to work for him in some capacity. But hey, we probably will never get that verified. But of course, I find it funny that again in 2015, when some other people allegedly start missing payments, and then we have other people being introduced to R. Kelly, here you go with Jim Derogatis again. Another problem I have is that people keep letting him run these stories, but they never mention the fact that this man helped keep these narratives that not only show that he was deeply involved with R. Kelly's first trial and the sequence of events leading up to it, but that he has some accountability in the fact that this alleged victim from this tape has been blasted to the public, violating her rights. And then he has the nerve to say this. Once it was pointed out that the name of an alleged underage victim hadn't been redacted, an aide was quick to scoop up the packets. That didn't stop them from putting it out there to the blogs. According to Jim Derogatis, he says, I wonder if that would have happened with the name of a white girl from Lakeview or the North Shore suburbs. No, I wonder if that had happened if the girl in question had have told you people what you wanted to hear instead of the truth, that she was not in the video. They want to keep running the narrative that she was paid off. Well, that means she lied to the grand jury, her family lied to the grand jury, and a whole lot of people should be facing some perjury charges right about now, should what they say is true. But at the end of the day, we all know it's quite bullcrap. This man even had the audacity to plead the fifth in the trial. Meanwhile, continue to push these articles out, name drop employees working with R. Kelly, and even continue to team up with people accusing this man of things, but not filing criminal charges. According to something Derogatis wrote, they said they called and called the office of state's attorney and got not a word, alleging that one of the victims, alleged victims, was trying to file a police report. So again, if these people were filing the police reports as it's being put out there, why did it take this docuseries to get the prosecutor's interest? If, according to Derogatis, he has been reporting on these alleged facts, they have been calling the prosecutors and state's attorneys ongoing, but they couldn't get any charges other than this alleged tape. Isn't that odd? According to them, in the first trial, they felt they had such a clear-cut case because they had a tape. Sounds like what they say today. But we see how that ended up for them. And we see how these people that were involved with the marriage certificate being printed, or let me say fraudulent marriage certificate being printed, the same people cooked up this surviving R. Kelly propaganda, and the same people keep pushing these narratives of the Me Too agenda. At the end of the day, I feel like all these people, such as Jim Derogatis, who not only broke the law in the past and now in the present, should be held accountable for their actions, as well as these alleged accusers who took part in extortion versus seeking out justice. Because as we see now, this is what they claim. They want justice. According to this article, Mr. Derogatis worked out 3 separate media outlets on the story, each of which progressed far along the edited processing before the dropout. After the last outlet canceled on a Wednesday afternoon in July 2017, Mr. Derogatis contacted Shani O. Hilton, the vice president of news and programming at BuzzFeed News. And if you do a little digging, you will notice that a lot of these allegations against R. Kelly comes from none other than BuzzFeed. We also see now that BuzzFeed is being thrown under the bus as being very, let's say, not credible. So moving on, in 2016, November to be exact, the Savages reached out to Derogatis. And in the meantime, they're plotting up this surviving R. Kelly. So in steps in Miss Dream Hampton. Mind you, this same person was working for Vibe magazine. One minute, they accredit R. Kelly as being this master musician, while dropping an alleged marriage certificate. According to Dream Hampton, it was Jim Derogatis who helped them understand that R. Kelly indeed had a pattern and that it's still happening. Their respect is mutual. Praising the documentary's visceral interview format, Derogatis said, "What Dream Hampton did is introduce you to these women." I thought, according to what Jim Derogatis has been printing, he's been introducing us to these women. So, Dream Hampton is the one introducing us to the women? Okay. Framed on the wall in Mr. Derogatis' home office is the well-thumbed index card that he read 17 times on the witness stand at R. Kelly's trial, declining to answer questions under the First and Fifth Amendments. Now, it's strange that everybody around here got rights except R. Kelly. This man can participate in this tape. He can participate in all these slanderous stories. He can participate in all these people connecting with one another. But he can insert his amendment rights not to testify in court. I'm a rock critic, he said. I've had to deal with the most complicated arrangements off and on the record sourcing that any journalist will have to deal with. So again, who gave him the authority to become this investigator, this detective, this person so in deep with this extortion plot but then the same person to plead the fifth and not testify. Wrapping this video up, we can see the line of connection all the way around the board. It all started with the marriage certificate, then the tape, and then all these women's stories being pumped out through certain media outlets. And then, at a specific point in time, these people began to link up again. Only thing is, before they linked up with Derogatis, they said some damning things to other people and on public platforms, such as social media. So before reaching out to Derogatis, the savages must have forgot how they threatened R. Kelly. But hey, it's okay for them to send the threats, because they're the same people who will have someone wrongly incarcerated for alleged threats. This story has too many holes, and it's time people start to wake up and see past the bullcrap. These people are not credible. Their stories all end in a money chase. And at the end of the day, they all have played a role in compromising this man's rights to have a fair trial. People can keep saying, oh, he can still have a fair trial. How? Who can erase all this propaganda that has been put out here through all these characters? All these characters who are not credible on a witness stand. From Sparkle to Lisa Van Allen, none of these people were credible witnesses, yet they are the star witnesses in these propaganda-filled stories being pumped out today. Make it make sense. Jim Derogatis, your time is running up. And if you, listening to this video, know of any ways to pursue how to get an investigation formed, because obviously they need to see all this communication this man had with all these people. Since they're telling the truth, of course, they have nothing to hide. Leave your comments below and have a good day.
My name on some shit that you put me in. So don't fucking ever tell nobody, oh, I better stay low and stay out of it because I'm worried. Nigga, I ain't worried about shit. I need to get off 10, 15 pounds. I can do 30 days or whatever the fuck come to me. You better ask yourself, can you, when you run around here going to these motherfucking courthouses and lying on people? And don't let this fame fuck you up, man. This fame so small with no benefits. With no benefits. So understand that. Don't tell me how to deal with men. I deal with men. I don't deal with cowards. And that's a known fact. So that shit you got going on, bro, you keep it over there. But keep my name out of it. And all them little young kids, man, y'all better wake up and learn who y'all talk to and who y'all around before y'all just follow somebody. And all the people that's following, y'all got to ask yourself, well, is this a person that you want to follow? Is this a person you want to be with? Because there's a whole lot of shit that I kept off the internet in favor of your family. Especially your situation that day. You and your wife know about. Nigga, don't run around and tell nobody, Angelo, put that shit out. Nigga, if I put it out, I'm going to put it out in your face. Nigga, I took the phone call and ain't say shit and never repeated it. But if you think you're going to fight against the world and nobody going to ask who the fuck you is or find out the shit you done before in your life, nigga, then you crazy.
I just love how these damn people love to talk. So, I'm curious why they always talking about what's in the discovery. Why is it all this information that they keep going back and forth with each other hasn't been presented? It probably won't, because they know they full of shit.